Welcome in the Philthy, a Philadelphia Eagles podcast. I'm Brad Wakai. That's Tyson Gentry. Now, Tyson, we got to apologize to the fan base of the Eagles because I had a bunch of stuff going on. We had technical difficulties on our YouTube channel. So we took some time off, and it just so happened that the Eagles completely fall apart and people think that the world's falling down.
And so you're putting this on us?
I think so.
I think so. I think it's only fair. Somebody's got to take accountability, and we're going to do it.
We're going to do it because we always pat ourselves on the back saying, hey, the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year because we started a podcast talking about the Eagles last year. And they didn't lose basically again as soon as we started the podcast. So, when things start crumbling a little bit, Tyson, we got to stand up and take accountability for it. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right thing to do. But, yeah, the two losses are so far in the rearview. Why are we even talking about them? I know that's everyone else is still mentioning that when they mentioned this team, and rightfully so, I guess. But, Brad, I don't know about you, but Jalen Hurts looked pretty good, and some of his peers looked pretty bad and have looked pretty bad. No one likes us. We don't care. But the praise wasn't nearly loud enough for me after the game that Jalen Hurts just put up.
Well, I know you're not on social media, but people are bending
nuts?
over backwards to not credit him, dude. Like, it was hilarious. It was like, oh, yes, it was a perfect passer rating, and oh, yeah, he threw it down the field, but he's not a good deep ball thrower still. And oh, it was against the Vikings. And it's like, dude, like, it's just everybody twists themselves up to a pretzel, and it's why Eagles fans have to come on here and feel like they have to, back up Jalen Hurts, and that's just the reality of the situation here. So we don't care about that, Tyson. What we do care about is just like Jalen Hurts and just like Nick Sirianni, is that the Eagles once again won a football game, and that's what they're doing. And Jalen's walking off the field saying we're not losing again, and that mindset's back for the Eagles. We love to see it as they win 28-22 over the Minnesota Vikings in a game, Tyson. I think a lot of people thought that the Eagles were going to lose.
Well, it was maybe going into it. What was it? What did it close at? 2.5?
Something like that. 2.5 for around 3
for Philly. Yeah, which is it was Carson Wentz. Like this is a team that after week 4 it would have been like, well, Philly's going to smoke. And the last 2 weeks certainly made that happen. But well, let's just get into the game as a whole. On the offensive side of the ball, Brad, are you giving KP a little credit, or was this like the players calling shots, or was this just Jalen Hurts took over the football game? It didn't matter what was called.
Well, I got two things here. I think Jalen Hurts took over the football game, and after the horrendous performance he had against the Giants, he obviously had the perfect passer rating, only had 4 incompletions, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, blah, blah, blah. I thought he looked much more comfortable, and I think that was a huge thing, and that was even with the offensive lineman going out. Cam Jurgens gets hurt, Brett Toth has to take over at center. And Tyson, the funny thing is because Brett Toth took over at center, they had to go under center, and they had to do play action, and the passing game all of a sudden worked, and it was like a light bulb thing went off. How many times, and we first came on here, I say, I love the under center. I think Jalen Hurts can operate out of under center, and that's a different wrinkle, and that's a good wrinkle that the Eagles should implement. Well, it took a freaking injury to Cam Jurgens for them to figure it out. So I think that's the issue I have with Patullo still, is that these route concepts are still mediocre at best and elementary at best. And it took a freaking injury to your center to even figure out that you can go to this wrinkle.
It was, I mean, we've all been begging. It's more than a KP problem. I think Eagles fans have been begging for under center play action specifically for a really long time. Pockets were beautiful as well, and that certainly helps. We've been critical of the offensive line of the run game, pass blocking wise. They were excellent. I mean, Brian Flores, you know what he wants to do, and Jalen Hurts has gotten really good at reading those things and getting the ball out quick when he has to. But there was a lot of off structure stuff today, or not today, but on Sunday from him. I thought the best play of the game for Jalen Hurts was that 3rd and 11 to AJ Brown, rolls out to his right and makes the throw. That's big time. Like, that's when people say you can't throw the ball, that's the clip that you show them where it's like, yes, because that's what you want out of the top guys in the league are throws like that. He had a couple huge 3rd down conversions, long ones too, and that's been a bugaboo of this team. But Brad, the receivers were pretty good on Sunday too, and we've been sitting here listening to and saying how much cornerback 2 is a problem, but listening to everybody else be like, look at Isaiah Rodgers with the Vikings. That felt a little good to me. I was watching that, I was like, thank God they're torching this dude and he doesn't have 2 picks.
Well, and the fact that he was talking a little bit of mess before the game too, and then AJ Brown went and kind of sunned him a little bit, and Devontae Smith did the same thing. And let's talk about the passing game too, because this is, I think, really this thing that stood out here is the Eagles got the win, but it was how it looked, right? Because the Eagles have won so much in this era that you can start to nitpick their wins, which we've never done before as Eagles fans. It's like, oh my God, the Eagles are winning. This is great. We'll take it any way we can. And the fact that they've won so much, Tyson, is what the issue is, I think, for a lot of people. Is that sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks bad, yada, yada. Devontae Smith, 9 catches, 183 and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 121 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, and the rest is Dallas Goedert, 3 catches for 18, and then Shipley, Bigsby, and Saquon Barkley each catch a pass. This was the big dogs eating today, man. And that's what we talk about when we're looking at the Eagles passing attack, is it's really Smitty, it's A.J., and it's Dallas Goedert. And then if you can shut them down, which it's hard to do, then what's this offense going to look like passing? But in the perfect ideal world, Tyson, this is what the game looks like. Now, maybe A.J. catches a couple more, and you know, yada yada. But dude, the way that they just ripped up that secondary, the way Jalen Hurts was able to navigate, I mean, this was finally something the Eagles fans have been waiting for.
It was game on the line, go ball to A.J. Brown. We've been waiting for one of those since they did it in week 1. It feels like it's been not necessarily hey, A.J. just go get it. Let's go win the football game. He wanted to score so bad on the last one, or at least wanted to add to the yardage total. And I don't blame him, dude. The clip goes viral of him yelling in the end zone after he scores his second one. Give me the ball. This was what happens, whatever. That's a KP, I think. I don't know if that's directed so much at Jalen Hurts, but he was awesome. And when he's awesome and Devontae Smith is awesome, they don't lose football games. And that coincides with Jalen Hurts being awesome. But, Brad, they couldn't run the ball again.
Right.
They stacked the box in Minnesota, but I think it's maybe something bigger.
I think so too, and we'll get into. I just want to get your thoughts on this, because is this what we're going to see going forward from the Eagles from a passing game? Can we say this is a resurgence? Can we say this is a change that's going to happen going forward, or is this just a one-off?
I think week to week it'll be dependent a little bit about how it looks. This is how you'd prefer it to look. Like the passing chart was creative in a way that it hasn't been all year. It looked closer to other guys. When you compare some of these dudes who get to sling it around the field. But when you come in and you're playing somebody whose defense isn't going to allow you to do those things, I fully expect we're going to have a couple games where it's 5 yards, 6 yards a pop, and we're all going to be pissed.
Yeah, I think, Tyson, for me, they just want to desperately run the football so much because that's the identity and that's where they've had success. And I think they're just running this thing into a brick wall. And we'll get into the running game issues because I think this all ties together. I think we're going to get more of this going forward from the Eagles, because I think they're going to realize, and maybe I'm giving too much credit to Patullo here and Sirianni or whoever puts together and whoever's involved in the offensive game plans. Hurts will be involved in that as well. Same with the offensive line and the playmakers. But I think you got to throw to open up the running game. So I think we're going to see more of this. I think we're going to see more early down passing attempts. I think we're going to see more early down and deep shots and things like that. And let's take a risk and make the defense respond to what we're trying to do in the middle of the field, over the top, things like that. Because if you're not going to do that, we're still going to get Saquon Barkley 18 yards for 44. And that's not what the guy should be doing. We're just a year removed from him breaking the all-time rushing record in a single season NFL history with the playoffs included. He has not had a major injury. He's not fallen off. I know he's in a ton of commercials and he's a year older, but this dude's still explosive and freaky, Tyson. It's just there are no running lanes for him, and he's getting hit in the backfield all the time. Yeah,
is he second in lowest amount of yards before contact in the league behind, or I think Ashton Genty's the only one worse. I think they might be two of the only guys getting hit in the backfield consistently. Yeah, it's a huge problem. But I agree, you got to pass to open up the run, and I think that's something we've been asking for. I think that's something the team's been asking for, and I think national media is going to be slow to it. I think Eagles fans are probably a little bit more tuned in, but everyone incessantly mentions their identity last year as a running football team. It's like, well, they found that over the bye. Over the mini bye this week, they came out slinging the shit out of the football. Yeah, they tried to run it 18 times, 20 times, 25, whatever it ended up being. And we're going to get that every week. But if you just, can accept the fact that this isn't the same team as last year and they might have to win in a different way, you might have more fun watching the games.
Let's get into the running issues too, because I do think that'll change. Do you think we all kind of know this? It's not the same. The running lanes we just talked about, the offensive line's not creating space and not creating enough separation for Saquon Barkley to not get hit in the backfield. Do you expect it to change? And I'm not saying it's going to look like last year when it was like we're getting explosive plays at a rate in a running game that we haven't seen since since Barry Sanders. But I do expect this rushing attack to look different or improve to the point where we're like, okay, yeah, we can kind of see the duality of this offense where it was last year in the playoffs.
I'll put it like this: there is no part of me that thinks Saquon Barkley is going to finish the year with less than 1,000 yards.
Okay.
And so, like, whatever that means as far as figuring it out, that's where I'm at. I don't think they're going to, like you said, it's not going to be constant home runs like a year ago. It might not even, like, we just want a 15-yarder a game at this point. It would be nice because they've been struggling to do that. So it'll get to a point where they're going to have weeks where it's 6 yards a pop, and it's going to feel great. But there's been too many of these in a row after. Like in the Super Bowl, he couldn't run the ball, but it was the Chiefs defense, and it was Spags, and that's how they were going to play the Eagles. But then that's how everybody's played them through 7 weeks too. And so you should have enough, hopefully, as a coaching staff to be like, okay, this is where we're struggling against these looks, against these the way the defenses are playing us right now. And I think that they're going to get it figured out again. Is that too much credit? We don't know. Devontae Smith calls his own shot in this game. Jalen Hurts calls the dagger in the Super Bowl. Just let these dudes run wild. Like at this point, anything they do well, I'm going to credit to Jalen and the players. And anything that goes wrong, I'm putting on coaching.
Well, there we go. Tyson's going in the full WIP mode. That if this is that and that's the other, we're drawing complete black and white lines here. But no, I'm with you. I mean, I think this is going to get going, and I think it is funny that the mini bye week this week came out of that, and it was like, we're getting the passing game going. This is how it's going to look. And last year was a demarcating line. It's like, we're just freaking running the football and going power, and whoever can stop it can stop it. And I'm with you. This is a copycat league. Spagnuolo set the blueprint on how to stop this Eagles rushing attack, and it's up to the passing attack to make sure that the linebackers have to back off, that the safeties can't play down, and that the gaps can't be sound, things like that. So I think it's going to get opened up, and we're going to get back to it. This is way too good of an offensive line, Tyson, for them to be performing this way. And that's where I'm at on this thing. And yes, it has not been a great start to the year for Saquon Barkley. He's too talented for this to be the result for the entire season. I refuse to believe that this is what we're going to get.
I'm with you.
Okay, let's get into the defense. Let's talk about one of the prodigal sons coming back to close out this episode. Tyson, 22 points. It was bend, don't break all game, and they actually put together or, stopped the Minnesota Vikings' elite red zone attack multiple occasions, forced them the field goals, had a pick six. But I am still concerned about this defense, man. It is not the same unit as it was last year, at least in my eyes. The pass rush is worse. The secondary is worse, and now you have Adoree Jackson getting injured. What's your thought process with this defense, man? Like, are you as concerned as I am?
We'll find out, I guess. But just the sentence that, like, you have to be concerned because Adoree Jackson's out after the way he's played, I think speaks pretty loudly to what this secondary looks like. Dude, Keely Ringo cut the dreads, and I was like, he might come out here and just be a whole new guy. And then it was just the same thing. It was like Jordan Addison's just open every play. Jalen Hunt had a pick six. Great schematic look from Vic Fangio there, and that's something like everyone made fun of Jalen's was it last week or 2 weeks ago when he dropped the interception? It's like, this guy was a former safety, all that stuff. They said he was on the jugs machine on Friday or whatever, and he comes up with a pick six here. Fantastic. Jalen Carter was really good on that play. The defense benefited greatly from playing against Carson Wentz. And I don't think that that's like the hottest of takes, because there were guys that were open, man, that Carson was just doing what Carson does, and it's complete, but you're like, what the hell? And there was 150 yards of yak on the field on Sunday.
It was a full Carson Wentz experience game, man. I mean, he's missing guys wide open, like you said. He's got 2 interceptions. Some, like, we're like, what are you thinking type of throws, and then some that are just like in the bucket, ridiculous type of stuff. You're like, oh my god. But, Addison, 9 catches, 128. Jefferson, he had 10 targets. I mean, it's a blessing that he only caught 5 balls for 79 if you're an Eagles fan. I mean, he could have carved up the defense, probably had a touchdown, maybe another one if we're kind of looking at things the correct way. But missed throws by Wentz, and we're talking about a completely different game. Maybe we are talking about the Eagles dropping 3 in a row. Maybe this isn't all kumbaya. Like, all right, we figured stuff out. Woo! Now we're playing the Giants, and we go to the bye week, and we've beaten the Chiefs. We've beaten the Cowboys. We've beaten the Lions, the Bucks, blah blah blah. Look at the teams they've beaten. Maybe it is, hey, we're 4-3 and we got issues, but that's not what happened, right? Because this defense, at the end of the day, did find a way to buck up when it mattered most in the red zone and stop the Vikings from scoring. And that's hard to do against this offense and these weapons. So I think you got to give them credit on that. Is it sustainable though, Tyson? You know me, I'm always worried about variance, or I always discuss variance, water finding its level for the more of a layman term. And is the red zone success that the Eagles have been able to have, is that going to be able to last for the whole year? Is that going to be able to last into the playoffs? That's where I'm concerned. I think they have to go out and get a pass rusher. I think they have to go out and get another cornerback. So I think Howie's got his work cut out for him. And until that happens, I'm going to be sitting there consistently worried about the Eagles defense. And maybe that's because I'm scarred from what we've seen in the past, except for last year. But man, dude, this is not giving me the warm and fuzzies.
Well, they got a pass rusher back. Or a pass rusher. I mean, Brandon Graham returning to the team is awesome. And I know there are people out there that, like, you want him to ride off into the sunset after the second win and coming back after the triceps, all that stuff. And I'm with you. I understand that. But he's a grown man, and he wants to be on the football team. Let him be on the football team. I think 0 snaps or 15, 20 a game, it doesn't matter. The vibes Brandon Graham brings to that locker room alone are going to be huge. But also, like, quietly, that Bengals game last year was one of the better ones he'd played in a long time. He was playing really well up until that triceps injury. So if he's back at 75% of what Brandon Graham was a year ago, and I expect a bit of a ramp-up period. And honestly, with the way BG, his career has been running, ever since we all wanted Earl Thomas instead, half of me expects this dude to just be awesome again. And I'm not going to hold it against him if he's not. But I think this is pretty big. And then as far as, like you said, add a pass rusher, and I know that you didn't mean Brandon Graham. I think Howie's probably on the phone with Miami. What's Jalen Phillips? What's Bradley Chubb? Like some of these guys, and corner 2, we'll see. There was still, like, Bennett hurts himself on that block kick, and that puts the Eagles behind the 8 ball again at that position, and maybe they really like him, maybe they don't, so we'll see there. But BG is back on the Eagles, the greatest Eagle since Doc and maybe of all time. Like, I love Lane, I love Jason Kelsey. Brandon Graham is like this generation, like that's the guy for me that goes on the Rushmore probably.
It's awesome that he's back, dude. Like, I get the people, well, what if it spoils his return? Like, are you not going to remember that, like, he had this cool moment? Both of them. Like, seriously, like, when we're talking, like, 15 years, and be like, we loved Brandon Graham's career, but, man, when he came back I just didn't. It's just, like, no, you're not going to remember that. I get it. It's like, okay, yeah, it was a perfect way to go off, and you had the John Elway moment and all that. Like, you win the Super Bowl, you go out, you're a legend. Let me throw it to you this way. What if he wins another one? What if they go back to back, dude? Like, you're thinking the wrong thing.
He saves the team.
And that's classic Negadelphian, right? It's like, oh my God, we lost 2 games. It's over. Why is Brandon Graham coming back? This is insane. They're going to, it's just ridiculous. So this is good, Tyson. I got to say this. The locker room, whatever the hell is going on there, I think it's a little overblown. This is me personally.
Bro, he's going to hop on his podcast first week and be like, I heard AJ and Jalen in a huge fight.
And it's probably going to be like, oh, yeah, he's going to do something on purpose. I don't know. But it's going to be good to have Brandon Graham back. Let's just put it that way. From a personality standpoint. From on the production or on the field type of production aspect, Tyson, yes, I did not mean that Brandon Graham is going to come back. Nolan Smith will come back too, so that's going to be a huge boon. They still need another guy. And yes, I'm with you. Miami, go call Bradley Chubb, or see what he costs. Bradley Chubb does. See what Jalen Phillips costs, like you said. I'll tell you this too. How about Jermaine Johnson from the Jets? There's got to be a fire sale going on there. I mean, my goodness gracious. But there's guys that you can get, and I think it has to happen. But cornerback too. I don't think if you're Howie Roseman, you can sit on your hands. Yeah, Ja'Cory Bennett's going to come back. We'll see what happens with the Dory Jackson. He hasn't been great, but the Keely Ringo experience is over. The defenders.
Doesn't that suck?
It's done, dude. Like, I can't watch this guy play anymore. He's just lost. It's
sucks.
Not going to work.
And like, we're watching dudes who the Eagles had on the practice squad, for years, ball out other places or play well. And it's like, we've been waiting for Keely. And, he's the Jason Tatum of the NFL. He's still only 17.
Right.
So he could put it together one of these days. It just doesn't look like it. Do you think with how much budgeting there was for next offseason, knowing you have to pay Jalen Carter and he's going to get paid. Like, how many of these corners that you can add middle of the season and reasonably rely on, like learning the scheme and all of these other things, are going to be on those expirings? And like it makes it tough.
It does. He's going to have to work his magic. You know, like we'll have to see what happens there. But you know, do you call Darius Slay back? I mean, he hasn't been great for the Steelers, but I mean, we talked about this
off the head, Thursday.
Not ideal. Not ideal. I mean, and we talked about one of the things that we liked about this offseason for Howie too is that the fact that they didn't rely on the players like he did in 2017. Now we're got Brandon Graham back. I'm already floating Darius Slay. It's like, oh, do we?
You've wanted Chauncey this whole time.
Yeah, I want GJ back. So it is funny that we're in this moment. It just kind of shows, you know, you can Monday morning quarterback anything as we're discussing it. But we were so happy that he didn't do that. And now it's like, why didn't you keep everybody? Man, what the hell? But so end of the day, Tyson, we'll get out of here. The Philadelphia Eagles are 5-2. They are one of the best teams in the NFC.
Are they catching a body bag on Sunday with the Giants?
I think it's a big boom spot for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Are they beating the New York Giants by 40 points?
They might. I mean, they're locked in. The Giants has had a kick in the you-know-what. I mean, now they got to go from Denver back to Philly. I mean, my God, man. I think this could get ugly.
And that's the fan of me that wants that. It could also be terribly frustrating and really close. The defense can't stop the run again. They can't get after Jackson Dart, and he looks awesome again. So I'm prepared for that. But I wanted to win this football game by 45 points.
Oh, man. Me too. Me too. So we'll do something with this potentially, Tyson. We're still trying to figure it out. Tyson and I are just getting back into the saddle. We're trying to figure out our schedule, all this as we're jumping back in. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, and share the show so you don't miss a single thing we do. This is Philthy on the I Said What I Said network. So if you found this on there, that is what it is on that channel. And we'll continue to keep the Eagles content going because we have to keep this good vibes going here, Tyson. I think it's us. We got to put our hand up, guys. So if you're an Eagles fan, we apologize. But stay subscribed so don't miss a single thing we do. Smash the like button on the way out, and we'll talk to you guys when we talk to you. Till then, peace.